Here are 6 vocal coaches that have changed my life and my voice. Before there was YouTube and online courses, there was Mark Baxter.
When I hear them say my voice, I always correct them and say, just replace that with I. I don't speak loud. I don't have I. And the reason for that is the acknowledgement that this is simply the way you're playing this instrument.
I picked up this, the Rock and Roll Singer's Survival Manual, back in 1998 at a guitar lesson studio that I was working at. This book was my introduction to the concept that my voice could be studied as an instrument in and of itself, and not just something that I did while I played guitar. I could go way deeper, and Mark helped me do that. And several years later, when I was actually working on building my own guitar, which I never finished, by the way, this video popped up.
Imagine if you went to a guitar lesson and he handed you a piece of wood and a picture of a guitar and said, here's what we're going to be making. And so out come the saws and the glue and the hammers and all that stuff. And for years, you'd work on building a guitar. Because you know the first one you make would suck. That was a lot like the sound of my voice when I started.
So as I was rereading the Rock and Roll Singer's Survival Manual, building my own guitar, and simultaneously working full-time at a recording studio, coaching singers through studio performances to try to get the best recordings possible, I also began to look at my voice as something that could and should be built, crafted over time in my body. How I build my body, how I treat my body, how I relate to my voice, both when speaking and singing. All of this started with inspiration from Mark. So thank you, Mark. Fast forward several years, and when I was looking to take my vocal coaching online, specifically to YouTube, Beth Roars and what she was doing and continues to do with her channel was a huge inspiration. She incorporates her own singing and other aspects of her creative life.
And much like in painting, our vocal tone is the shades and colors in our voice.
And she really teaches through all the reactions and vocal analysis videos that she puts out.
It's so funny because his clean voice is so clean and bright, and part of that is compression. And what is compression? Is a little bit of compressed air between your vocal cords. Hey! See how it has that drive? Without it, hey! It's a lot easier and more relaxed.
And that was something that I really wanted to do. It was her example that got me in the right direction. How can I use this format to teach and to give value to my students? Beth, your diverse and creative approach to content, as well as your high standards and consistency, continue to be a huge inspiration as I put out more and more content here on YouTube. Thank you. I was first made aware of vocal coach Tony Linky when he referenced one of my videos on vocal distortion and screaming.
This is gonna be nerdy stuff. Chris Lipe has made several videos on exactly that kind of scream, where he uses instructions like find the breakup, push into the break, or milk the break.
So we can come alive! He incorporated the specific technique that I was teaching and demonstrating into a broad, highly organized, with diagrams and further explanations, presentation, or multiple presentations. And as I continued to dig into his content, I just found it fascinating. And he's got a killer voice, too. Tony, as I've worked with some of these artists over the past few years and helped them create courses of their own, your content has been something that has been continuously inspiring to me. The way that you communicate, organize, and demonstrate is grounding and accessible, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. Kurt Wolf runs a voice and artist development studio in New York City and has recently started putting some of his group coaching sessions, or parts of them, on his YouTube channel.
Remember us talking about that, master your medium as a singer.
Yeah.
So that you feel like for those biggest notes, you still have room to go a little bit louder, and a little, put some emphasis on the singing. You could still get a little quieter if there was a moment, but we live in medium.
He's edited them in such ways that you can get key takeaways without having a large time investment, even though you see this group dynamic happening in the context of his videos. It's freeing, empowering, entertaining as a student, and the way he connects his exercises to real-world singing examples makes a lot of sense.
Use unfinished sounds like a bratty na or a dopey ma. These sounds help you thin out your vocal cords and release your larynx, helping you gain access to higher registers in your singing voice. Mama, 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 mama. It's been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely time.
Kurt, as I watch you cover topics on your channel that I've covered on my channel.
Go, 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 go. 2 more. Go, 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 go.
We're going to make an exercise out of a word. The word is gone, but from a different angle and in a completely different format. It's like looking into the same room from a different window and seeing different things. What you do inspires me in the ways that I present these same topics. Thank you. When I hear the phrase, "the joy is in the journey," I think of Elizabeth Zharoff from The Charismatic Voice.
I want to know more about where that's coming from.
Her relentless curiosity is so incredibly contagious.
It was the moment that gave birth to this burning interest that I still have to discover how vocal distortion is created.
She is a coach that both learns and teaches by asking questions.
What is the source of generosity in his sound?
She brings you along for journey after journey. As she discovers things, she's able to turn that into learning moments for herself. And so you have this wonderful sense that you are learning and discovering things with her. I really resonate with this energy because I've felt in my journey as a coach, I teach best when I am the student at the same time. When I am being vulnerable and as I'm instructing, I'm also showing that, yeah, here's how I learn, here's how I'm continuing to learn about whatever topic or technique or mindset. And it's this resonance that led me to reach out to Elizabeth, which eventually led to us working with Will Ramos and developing a course, yes, based off of relentless curiosity that does deep dives into extreme vocals.
I think it's time to call the next guest to the stage. Elizabeth, get over here. I'm calling you down to the stage.
And while she's got an incredible voice and has honed her craft to a very high level, she is not afraid to branch out into areas that most people would say, I'm not sure about that. That looks uncomfortable.
That nice plateau rather than a hilly surface. Yeah, that sounds awesome.
And that is the key. Thank you for being nerdy with me and for being relentlessly curious with me. You are an example to me that the best teaching is done through continued learning. Not by having all the answers, but by freely admitting that we don't have all the answers and wanting to find more answers together. If there was an encyclopedia in YouTube video format on the topic of vocal coaching and the human voice, it would be Justin Stoney's Voice Lessons to the World.
By lengthening the vocal folds. Got it. Our practical definition is the high note muscle.
Justin is able to get super nerdy while still being super accessible. That's something that's really hard to do. And the way he presents his videos with diagrams and animated illustrations, and also using artist examples, is helpful for starting to get a grasp on any vocal technique or concept.
Now, it's really important to understand that there's a difference between expanding your low range and expanding your high range. With high notes, for example, most singers will add at least an octave and probably more to the top of the voice if we do the right work. But low notes don't work like that.
I came across Justin's videos early on in my YouTube vocal coaching journey, and Justin really inspired me to highlight artists from an educational point of view, outside of the traditional reaction or vocal analysis format. The how to sing like videos and the studies that link certain vocalists to certain techniques.
He's even on my wall in Lego form. It's Paul McCartney.
That was inspiring and something that I love to do to this day on my channel. He's also the YouTube vocal coach that made the idea accessible to me with regards to having artists on the channel and learning from them right here in the room, and then also teaching through what I'm learning from this artist. Justin, you make complicated things seem really simple and exciting to learn about. And you've inspired the dynamic content that I put out here on my channel. Thank you. This list is definitely not exhaustive, and maybe I'll make a part 2 one day. Leave in the comments below vocal coaches that have helped you out. Maybe you'll inspire my next video on this same topic. I've left links in the video description for all of these coaches if you want to check out their work in greater detail. And if you'd like to work with me in greater detail, start by clicking the link below in the pinned comment or video description and joining my free course. I'll help you start to pull things out of your voice from a standpoint of creativity, freedom, and yes, curiosity that you never knew were there.